I saw the most ridiculous story today that I just have to share with you guys. A Texas woman has been reported missing by her family and has been discovered living with a self-proclaimed African tribe in the Scottish woodlands. I'm going to repeat that just so you guys don't mistake it. A self-proclaimed African tribe in the Scottish woodlands. The Kingdom of Kubala asserts that they have settled in a forest in Jedburgh, aiming to reclaim land allegedly stolen from their ancestors in the Scottish Highlands 4 centuries ago. It's in the 1600s. I will get to that in just a minute. The group is composed of leader King Atehene, although they have mispronounced or miswritten his name as Atehene, which, the memes with Michael Jackson. There we go. Atehene is a former opera singer known as Kofi Ofa. He's from Ghana. His wife, Queen Nandi, and their handmaiden, Asnat. Now, Asnat, also known as Lady Safi, is Kaura Taylor from Texas. You'll see this in a picture of 3 of them standing together. It's King Atehene, the queen, standing next to him in a blue dress with a white shawl, and a lady in a red dress. That's Kaura, the handmaiden. Anyways, in a video message from the camp, Kaura stated to the UK authorities, obviously, I am not missing, leave me alone, I'm an adult, not a helpless child. The group declared that they don't recognize local laws and have faced persecution from those who don't understand their lifestyle. They've received eviction notices and even experienced an attack on their camp when their tents were set ablaze. I don't know why they use that word. It's much better when you say something like it was set on fire. It just lends more oomph to the whole sentence. Instead of submitting to local law enforcement, they claim to only acknowledge the laws of their God, named Yahweh, not Yahweh, Yahowah, I guess. Their king even claimed to be a descendant of the Messiah. And while their presence has puzzled locals, the tribe insists that they lead a simple life, bathing in a nearby stream, dwelling in tents, and connecting with nature. King Atehene, I'm just going to call him that from now on. That's the best one. We live a very simple life of returning to innocence. We connect to nature. We connect to the trees around us. We get grounded every morning. We bathe in the spring water. We are living a simple life of relying daily on the Creator for food, shelter, and clothing. We live in a tent without walls, but we are not afraid of anyone, for we have protection from the Creator, Yahweh. Many people do not have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. They see things and they judge without understanding. This includes the government of Great Britain, who say that culture and religion is tolerant in Great Britain. But the Kingdom of Kubala has suffered trials and tribulations at the hands of authorities who do not understand or tolerate. Okay. But the Kingdom of Kubala cannot be destroyed, for we are helped by the Creator of the heavens and the earth, our God. Until then, no one will be able to destroy the Kingdom of Kubala. They assert they represent a forgotten Hebrew tribe with their monarch tracing his lineage back to David the Messiah, claiming their forebears were exiled during Elizabeth I's expulsion of indigenous black Jacobites. Again, I will get into that one in a minute. However, if you go back to David the Messiah, I believe that's prior to the year 1600. I could be wrong. I mean, I do a myth channel, but I pretty much believe that David the Messiah, if he actually existed, is prior to when the Jacobites were removed. I'm just using their words. The community maintains they embrace a modest existence, striving to accomplish a divine prophecy that will establish their realm and reunite other forgotten tribes. The king continued, we follow the laws of the Creator, and everything belongs to the ones who made it. We do not believe that any authority owns the land. The earth belongs to the Father. We do not know about any eviction. All we know is that we are here to stay and establish our authority and power just like our ancestors did. King Atehene described it as a journey of the pilgrimage. He added, the prophecy said, after 400 years, when my ancestors are destroyed from the land of Scotland, from the land of Great Britain, they will go into captivity and lose their identity. I don't know where he got this prophecy from, but that's cool. After 400 years, I will come and bring them back to the land of promise. I am following the ancestral call and the call of the gods. The calling from our Creator to embark on this journey is the most important thing in our life. It is a group of hope. It is a journey of hope, a pilgrimage. His spouse, Queen Nandi, a mother of 7 who was born Jean Gasho. All the pictures are attributed to her, by the way. Every single picture that you see is a picture that Jean made, whatever you want to call it, took. We are the lost tribes of Hebrews and have returned to claim Scotland as our homeland, a land stolen by Elizabeth I 400 years ago when she deported all black people from Scotland and England who were not Africans but natives of the lands. Jacobites were black from their ancestor Jacobo, a black man. According to the prophet Atehene, Jerusalem is in Scotland and that he is the seed and offspring of David the Messiah. The old world is going. The second exodus has begun. Only those who live off-grid in tabernacles will be saved as we enter the millennium kingdom of Kubala, and the world is left behind. Scottish Borders Council stated that they have been collaborating with Police Scotland, that's the name, regarding the ongoing situation. A representative further added, this has included the provision of advice and information about housing options and other support services. Now, I am Scottish. My last name is from the Highlands. I am very proud of my ancestry. I love being a Scot. I don't know where I was going with that. All I know is that I'm deeply offended by the fact that these people say that they are the true ancestors of Scottish rule or ancestry or whatever. It bothers me on some sort of deep, deep level. However, I just have to add a couple of things. They have been evicted from this Jedburgh camp. The king and queen no longer have a place to stay. The pair were camping on land owned by the Scottish Borders Council. Locals said the man would spend time outside a local co-op using its Wi-Fi, I should say. So, the African royal dynasty, Kofi Ofa and Jean Gasho. Kofi is from Ghana, just putting that one out there. Jean is from Zimbabwe. And they decided that Jerusalem is in Scotland. You guys figured that one out for yourself. Anyways, they put up tents on the land near Jedburgh. Kofi insisted he is the Messiah. We've already gone through that. And descendant of the biblical King David, and has posted footage online of Gasho fanning him with a peacock feather. By the way, he has a YouTube channel. I will post that down in the comments below, down in the links or whatever the hell it is. In the videos, the couple referred to each other as King Atehene and Queen Nandi. Further concern was raised after they were joined by another woman. That's the Kaura person. Kaura is an American who has been reported as missing from her home in Texas. Taylor turned up to the couple's encampment with her baby daughter. This is part of the story that wasn't in the original that I told. But it is understood that the child has been taken from her by social services in the UK. Kofi, one resident says that Kofi will tell anyone who will listen that he is the Messiah. Jean seems to have fallen for it, hook, line, and sinker. They were living with another woman. They claim to be living in a mystical kingdom, but the reality is that it was a muddy patch of land on the outskirts of Jedburgh. The pictures are amazing. There are obvious concerns over their mental health, and the authorities need to intervene. But before being removed from the land, Ofa spent much of his time standing outside the town's co-op supermarket making use of its free Wi-Fi. The group declared they don't recognize local laws. They've received eviction notices. They live a very simple life of returning to innocence. And again, I'm going to quote him as saying, we connect to nature. We connect to the trees around us. We get grounded every morning. We bathe in the spring water. We are living a simple life of relying daily on the Creator for food as he stands outside the town's co-op supermarket using their free Wi-Fi. A family friend of Taylor claimed the couple took advantage of her vulnerable state. Kaura has been groomed online and was brought over to the UK by Jean Gasho and her husband. They want her to get to safety and call the police, but Taylor responded to leave her alone. In footage shot on mobile phone, Gasho gestures towards Ofe and states, all hail the King of the North, all the Messiah, the holy seed of David. You are the chosen one, the one to usher us to the promised land here in the Holy Land of Scotland. Gasho and Ofa were previously based in northeast England, so they've moved hundreds of miles. They were due to stand trial on alleged child cruelty charges at Teesside Crown Court, but the charges were dropped earlier this year. Why? Why were the charges dropped? It doesn't matter. The important part of this whole thing is coming up, which is they say they're from the Jacobite succession. That line is through what the Jacobites believed that the crowns. Hold on. The Jacobite succession is the line through which Jacobites believed that the crowns of England, Scotland, and Ireland should have descended, applying male preference primogeniture since the deposition of James II and VII in 1688 and his death in 1701. It is in opposition to the legal line of succession to the British throne since that time. Excluded from the succession by law of their Catholicism, James's Stuart descendants pursued their claims to the crown as pretenders. James' son, James Francis Edward Stuart, the Old Pretender, and grandson, Charles Edward Stuart, the Young Pretender, or Bonnie Prince Charlie, actively participated in uprisings and invasions in support of their claim. From 1689 to the middle of the 18th century, restoration of the Jacobite succession to the throne was a major political issue in Britain, with adherents both at home and abroad. However, the Charles Edwards disaster, which was a defeat at the Battle of Culloden in 1746, the Jacobite succession lost both its support and its political importance. James II and James VII. Henry Benedict Stuart was the last of his legitimate descendants, as he took a career as a Catholic prelate and was never married. Henry Benedict Stuart died in 1807, by which time the Jacobite succession ceased to have supporters in any number. When Henry died childless, the Jacobite claim was then notionally inherited by Henry's nearest relative, a second cousin twice removed, then passed through a number of European royal families. Although the line of succession can continue to be traced, none of these subsequent heirs ever claimed the British throne or the crowns of England, or Scotland, or Ireland. A spokesman for the current heir, Franz, Duke of Bavaria, has described his position in the line of succession as purely hypothetical and a question which does not concern him. However, there remains a small number of modern supporters who believe in the restoration of the Jacobite succession to the throne. And then, because Elizabeth supposedly booted all these Jacobites out, all of them, blackamoors is what they're called, well, that's a myth. It never really happened. Well, it kind of happened, but it didn't really happen. And this is from somebody by the name of Miranda Kaufman, who's done a lot of research on this entire history of the Jacobites, Elizabeth I and the blackamoors and the deportation that never was. Elizabeth I did not expel Africans from England, she says. In fact, Africans have been present in both England and Scotland from the earliest years of the 16th century and continued to live here for the rest of her reign and beyond. I have found evidence of over 360 African individuals living in these isles between 1500 and 1640. We no longer need to rely on the 1596 document to make the point that there were Africans in Tudor England. I have provided a link for you guys to check out. King Atehene and his queen are insane. And if they really believe that they are descendants of King David, well, I don't know. When did King David reign? So when did King David reign? Well, King David reigned over Israel for approximately 40 years. He reigned for 7 years in Hebron and then 33 years in Jerusalem, according to Bible Hub. His reign is generally dated around 1000 to 962 BC. What is that? That's like 2,600 years? How many years between 1000 BC to 1650 AD? Yeah, it's only 2,600 years between when King David reigned and when the blackamoors were in, or the Jacobites, I should say, were in England and Scotland. What an asshole.